Yo, what is going on, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to be talking about a design documents regarding a Desert Treasure 2 quest by Mod Raven. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go. Before we get started, guys, this quest is not set in stone. Everything we discuss is not finalized. Even down to the canon, it hasn't been checked by the lore council, so it could be completely wrong. Although the lore part of it doesn't really matter for this video, because I'm not going to delve into the lore aspects of it very greatly. The design document for this will be linked down in the description below, and at the bottom of the design document there is a large portion that basically gives you a rundown of the entire quest, which is pretty detailed even down to dialogue. So I'm not going to spoil none of that if this actually does come into fruition. It's not guaranteed to even make it into the game, it's just up in the air at this point by Mod Raven. So with that caveat out of the way, we're going to jump right into it. So for this particular design document, in terms of rewards, they're not considering any rewards at this time, simply just talking about the story and the quest design. The goal would be, ultimately when this releases, to have an appropriate cool reward, but that's beyond what Mod Raven's trying to do with this particular design document at this point. And that would be for a future team to design and develop if the quest ends up getting greenlit. Now, in terms of difficulty with this quest, so Desert Treasure at its time of launch had some pretty tough boss fights, but he says that he recognizes questers are not always big fans of tough combats, but he is aiming for around the difficulty of God Wars 2-ish, so you can expect somewhere around that. Not particularly difficult for most of the PvM community by no stretch, but hopefully a fun fight overall. He's also pitching a pretty unique idea where you could actually avoid the boss fight entirely by some clever pieces of skilling and puzzle solving that will be off the beaten path. So if you actually are able to solve this or engage in the quest in such a way, you may be able to bypass that fight entirely, which is very interesting. I don't think we've actually had anything like that in any quest previously, if my memory serves me well. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd love to see how this plays out. Now, I understand, like, after release and people using guides and stuff, people will have figured this out and will be able to easily just do what it takes to bypass the boss fights. But those of you who go in blind, doing a quest with no guide, like I like to do on day of release, if you are able to figure out whatever that is, it's probably going to be like extremely rewarding. Just knowing that through your wits you were able to avoid the boss fight entirely. It's pretty cool. Again, this is just a pitch. That particular aspect of it may not even come into the quest if this does go live. But it is a unique and interesting idea. To see if that ends up panning out, we're going to have to wait until we get more information. Now let's go dive into the actual pitch of the quest itself. So you're going to be working with Asgarnia Jones, the same archaeologist that you helped out in the original Desert Treasure quest, so it looks like he's going to be reprising his role to piece together some historical puzzles and try to uncover the buried secret from the Second Age. So this got me pretty curious. What kind of things are we going to unearth from that time in RuneScape's timeline? Let me know if you have any thoughts. The player will be given 4 clues to follow and will be trying to obtain some secret item with which to uncover the location of the buried secret. Now, each of these stories follow one of a number of historical characters within the RuneScape lore. I'm not particularly versed with the Second Age of RuneScape, so I wonder what kind of NPCs we're going to be talking about in here. So if you have any idea, I'd love to hear it. Now, in terms of how you're going to be actually interacting with the quest and solving the puzzles, Mod Raven actually has mentioned that he wants to make it so information is not immediately given to the player, so no handholding with this quest. Locations will need to be discovered and investigated by reading journals and books in the libraries. He said it should be guidable because some people will never read those books, etc. but there should also be a sense of achievement for those who try to piece it together themselves. Now, when he says guidable, I think he pretty much just means, obviously, once somebody figures out how to do this quest, they could easily make a guide that should be straightforward to follow, which leads me to believe there's not going to be any like randomized types that are specific to your character with this quest. It's going to be pretty standard like most quests. So I guess fret not if you're somebody who really doesn't really like to engage with the quests and just want to space far through the dialogue. Seems like that will be accessible if you so choose. But the initial people who do try to solve it and figure it out, hopefully it gets that sense of satisfaction for figuring it out on your own. I understand that's not everybody's cup of tea, but there's probably some of you out there who will really enjoy that aspect of it. Moving on to the prerequisites, however, you will need to have completed Desert Treasure, Majorat Memories, Ritual of the Majorat, Children of Ma, and Jack of Spades. Now, like I said, I'm not going to delve into the deep nitty-gritties of the lore behind this or the actual spoilers towards it. Those will be in the design document if you want to read those off yourself, but I'll basically set it up for you. It seems like you're going to be helping out as Garnia Smith with some kind of maybe temple or something located in Karamja. So while this might not necessarily be a desert treasure part 2, more akin to a jungle treasure, but it's like a spiritual successor to the desert treasure and its format. I don't know if they're going to go with the name Jungle Treasure, to be honest. Maybe they'll get a little bit more creative. But basically, it will be a desert treasure in a jungle setting. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. Is that something you're going to be excited about? Again, this is not 100% to even make it into the game. We're still at the early stages where we're getting feedback from the community, and things can very likely change. Basically, Mod Raven actually copied a lot of the structure from the original Desert Treasure. So there'll be an opening section where you're going to be learning about the new things that you're going to be engaging with. Then you're going to be getting some hints and clues, and then it'll branch off into 4 different sections, which can be done in any order. Each section has its individual little stories, which lead on to the final section, with more to learn and much more to discover. So hopefully that is exciting to you guys. Let me know. What do you think about reusing the Desert Treasure format? What do you think about the Karamja setting? How about the fact that the boss fights are going to be somewhere around God Wars 2 level and may have a mechanic or some kind of aspect to it that'll allow you to skip it if you're clever enough? Love to see what you have to say down in the comments below. I think a modern day Desert Treasure would actually be really cool, especially with the Karamja setting. If they take their storytelling and the effort into it like they did with like Pieces of Hate earlier this year, then I can see this actually being one of the coolest quests so far. I mean, time will tell, and you know, it's not necessarily set in stone like I've been saying, but I will follow this to see if we can get any more information. I will reveal it on the channel as it does. Just remember, if you're going to be checking out the design document below, the quest is pretty much spelled out for you there and hasn't, like I said, been lore checked. So if you see any fallacies in there, maybe you can give your feedback to Mod Raven, but you don't really have to worry because it's not finalized. But that will wrap it up for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you are not subscribed and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.